Alright, ladies and gents, this is 10 things Witcher 3 players hate by the channel gameranx. I've played Witcher 3 in depth, so I must know about most of these things. Witcher 3 is so big and vast, there's so many details in it, it's just incredible. Let's watch it.
Witcher 3 was one of the best games of 2015, but that doesn't mean that everything is perfect. That's why today gameranx brings you 10 things Witcher 3 players hate. Number 10, wraiths. Most specifically, the first time you come across a wraith. But if you go a little while without playing the game, it's about the same thing because you forget a couple things about the game, and sometimes this is one of them. They kind of kick the crap out of you unless you use Yrden on them. And obviously you don't just know that right off, it's something you have to either find out on your own or via the Google. And if it's got
What? That's his 10th point? His point of hating the game is one of the best points that makes the game really incredible. In this game, you're not just somebody who just masses button to kill someone or reach a certain level and then you're just incredible, you can just kill anything. There are no stupid restrictions like that. This game does these things really well. I don't care how good you get in the game, how higher level, higher tier you get in the game. There will be a time where if you just go there blindly without any knowledge and just start to button mash, even simple things, start of the game, things like wraiths can kill you. Why? Because it's not just simple as having better equipment, better level, better skill points. You need to use your own knowledge. Every enemy is dangerous if you don't know how to defeat them. That's the best thing about this game. It's not just button mashing. If you forget how to kill wraiths, you need to use Yrden or some kind of sign. If you forget that, you're playing Witcher 3 wrong. It's not just some game that you play from start to end and just finish it. It's a game that you really have to be immersed in. It's an immersive game. That word gets thrown around a lot, but it's an immersive game. You have to know the world. You have to act like a Witcher. You need to read bestiary. You need to know what is the weak point of things, how to defeat it, how quick things are, how to defeat certain monsters. That's why you are not just playing Geralt of Rivia, just start to end. You actually control it. You think like him. That's the best thing about this game. If you are good enough, if you use your own knowledge, even in Death March, even at the difficulties of monsters of all, you can really glide through it without any difficulty. If you're really good, if your knowledge is really good. So this 10th point is so stupid. It's not even funny, man. If you forget this, you're playing Witcher 3 wrong.
Gotten to the point of the Google, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. And even though it's easy to beat them once you learn how to beat them, you still hate them. I will carry the memory of trying to beat them without knowing how to.
10 things Witcher 3 players hate. If anybody calls themselves Witcher 3 player, they would not forget this.
Beat them for the rest of my days. Number 9. While fighting, Geralt of Rivia can't jump over little obstacles. Stuff that you could normally jump over. He can dodge and roll and perform magical feats, but that little fence is too much for him. Poor little fella. Maybe someday when the little boy grows up, he'll be able to. I mean, it's not exactly Donald Trump style build a wall, keep 'em out stuff. There's no titans on the other end hungering for human flesh. That's designed to keep out rodents. Small rodents, not even big rodent. Big rodent could probably get over it. I mean, there is some solace in the fact that the enemies can't jump over it either, but I mean, it looks silly. And if you get in a fight near a small fence or a little obstacle of any sort, you basically have to treat it as if it goes endlessly up in.
Oh my god, this guy is pissing me off. The game's combat is kind of realistic, and that's the issue. Anybody who knows anything about fight would know that you can't just glide around and jump over walls and obstacles when you're in fight, because at that point you're vulnerable. This is not some parkour style game where he just glides around, kills people and just walks off like it's nothing. Alright? Every time Geralt is in fight mode, did you see his stance? His legs, the way his posture is? This game tried to, take this combat thing really seriously. When you're in actual fight, you are in a defensive stance. that nobody can just knock you down and kill you on the ground. You don't just glide over things and jump over obstacles. That's realistic.
Into the sky and is visible from space. Number 8, that it keeps
This
getting
is not Assassin's
compared
Creed,
to
man.
Skyrim. Let me be the first to say that Skyrim is one of the best games ever made. Video games of all kinds have been different since Skyrim came out,
I
but
agree
Witcher
with
3
this.
is so not like Skyrim at all. Where Skyrim wants you to create your own narrative, Witcher 3 has many, many rich narratives for you to immerse yourself in. And although both are open world games, Geralt's tale is a little bit more a tale than the Dragonborn's.
Alright. I kind of agree with this. It's stupid to compare Skyrim to Witcher 3, but I get it. People can't really put it in words, but the basic sense is the world, the landscape, the terrain, the music, the feel. Open world RPG games, when all this combined, makes a really immersive and realistic experience. And people are comparing that. Skyrim is nowhere near similar to Witcher 3. But the Skyrim's music, Skyrim's landscape, terrain, the world, the how world breathes and how realistic it all is, the immersion experience, how it is great. Same thing applies to Witcher 3 in a different way, but same thing. The point is, both are so immersive game is ridiculous. In that sense, people compare it. Like, remember how good Skyrim was, open world and everything. How good is Witcher 3 compared to that? In that sense, I don't think anybody tries to really compare Witcher 3 and Skyrim because they're totally different game. Dovahkiin's storyline is close to none. There is none. It's just simple. He's a dragonborn who's going to kill Alduin. Everything else is just open to interpretation. And that's the point of it. That's what Bethesda wants. Openness in the game. You can be a thief. You can be an assassin. You can be a, honorable warrior. It's all up to you. That's the point of Skyrim. In Witcher 3, everything's fixed. Who Geralt is, who's Geralt's past, who's Geralt's daughter, even though who was Geralt's past lover. Most things are fixed. So as a narrative standpoint, Witcher 3 will always be better than Skyrim because Geralt is fixed. His story is fixed. So narrative can be better. Skyrim can't have that kind of a narrative because it's so free and open. Skyrim's DLCs have better storyline than the main story of Skyrim. And I'm not so sure that that's bad. In its own sense, it's better. Because if Skyrim's storyline was more detailed like Witcher 3, I don't know, it wouldn't feel that free. But the point is, both games immersive experience. Open world, how the world feels real and how immersive it is. That's what people compares.
And I'm not saying that that's better or worse, it's just different. If you compare these two games in a way where you try to act like they're particularly similar, you're really only looking at surface things, like the type of game it is, or the setting. Actually,
Witcher has dragons, but I don't think Witcher 3 has dragons. It has wyverns. Then again, Skyrim dragons are not really dragons, but that's just technicality.
that's pretty much where the similarities stop. The systems and the narrative are so different in between these two games, and while it's not like comparing apples to oranges, it's also not like comparing apples to apples. It's like if somebody made like a mutant apple that was pretty different from a regular apple, but still an apple. Number 7, speaking of those systems, while there are a lot of good ones, there are also a lot of weird things. Let's say you killed some high-level enemy, one much higher level than you, and you loot a sword or some armor or something from that enemy, and it's either your level or under your level. Now I understand that it's a leveled loot system, but hey, let's say I'm level 15 and I beat something level 25. I should get some kind of actual reward for that. Also, when I walk into some level 21 blacksmith, he should still be able to make something.
Alright, I second this. I get it, it's a level system, alright? But Witcher 3 is not just simply armors and weapons. There are other things like mutagens, and some things are really rare. So I think, yes, you get a higher level sword that you can't equip yet because it was a higher level enemy. But if you defeat a higher level enemy and you are 3-4 levels below it, I think you should get like a good enough mutagen, better red mutagen. Some of them are really rare, or some kind of reward like that. So I kind of second this, that yeah, it is a level system, but some things are not leveled. like mutagens and things like that. Some things are rare and you should be able to get that.
Much better than what I'm carrying around at level 16. And again, I get it. It's leveled loot, but it's annoying because I can seek out a great blacksmith or I can beat an enemy that is supposed to not be beatable for somebody at my level, but I'm still restricted. I don't get rewards for going above and beyond. Number 6, spoiler alert if you haven't played.
I think you get XP, don't you? If you, I don't remember it exactly, but if you kill a higher level enemy, you get more XP, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I gave you ample time. That mission where you have to rescue a bunch of dwarves on that island just to get to Ciri. These little capless pigs are like, we'll help you, but you gotta help us much more than we're gonna help you. All we're gonna do is just take you somewhere. You're trying to move as fast as you can, like you're trying to rescue somebody. You don't know what's happened to them. You're going around on this foggy, mystical island the whole time, and you're like, guys, I have something important to do. Number 5, how much harder...
What was that? What was his point? If I'm not mistaken, he's talking about the Ciri island, that first time, that mystical island that you find Ciri in. Alright? He's just simple. Those dwarves want you to find their other mates before they would help you find Ciri. You can't just break down the door and go in. What if they don't tell you and Ciri is not in the hut but somewhere else? What if without their help you can't find Ciri? So Geralt can take the risk. It's kind of like a hostage situation. You have to do this if you want to find Ciri, and they know where the Ciri is. I mean, it's not like, I'm just doing this out of my good heart and you are going to tell me where Ciri is anyway. No, they put condition in. You have to find them if you're going to tell where to find Ciri.
Death March is than normal. It's like I said earlier, wraiths suck the first time you see them, but wraiths always suck on Death March. It does not matter if you know how to kill them. They suck. Normal mode isn't really that difficult, other than like a couple of things. But Death March is like, okay, let's see how close to Dark Souls we can get without infringing on their copyrights.
It's not.
It's why when you play...
It's just not. It's just not. I played it in Death March. I was hardly tested. I've played Dark Souls. It's not even close, man. Dark Souls is ridiculously hard. Death March Witcher 3 doesn't come close to that. Alright, if you know, like I said in the start of the game, you need to know things. You need to use your own knowledge and tactics to play this game. And if you do that, Death March is not hard. I've gone again Witcher contracts in Death March, and I hardly went below 80-70% of my life. It's not hard if you know what you're doing. This game is in a weird way so balanced that if you know what you're doing, you will hardly, die or even come close to dying. But if you are playing on normal and if you don't know what you're doing, even simple wraiths can kill you. So it's up to your knowledge. That's the best thing about this game.
On Death March, I like to call it The Witcher 3 Wild Souls. Number 4, fist fighting. When you fight without a weapon, it kinda just sucks, but you often do it indoors. And that's even worse, because if you get cornered, you have nowhere to go. You're just screwed. Here you are, this mystical witcher who hunts monsters, destroys magical beasts, travels through time and space, literally over the course of the game, and some random drunk at a bar can beat you up by getting you stuck in a corner. Number 3, Roach.
Has this guy even played Witcher or know what Witcher's lore is? When did anybody say that Witchers are supernatural being or some superpower, like Superman? Did anybody say that? They are mutated beings who can take certain potions. They will be poisonous to normal people. That potions give them really good power. They have certain things called signs. They are a bit sturdier. They live a bit longer, but they are not Superman. If you punch them, your fist is not going to crack or something. It's not that far gone, alright? It's just they are a bit mutated. So if 5-6 people group up, gang up and beat a Witcher, they can still beat him up, alright? He's still a human who's mutated, that's it. Not a Superman. So that point was stupid. And you say, but yeah, he's still be able to be better than a normal human. He is. You go against 7-8 people in a fist fight and in the end Geralt comes out on top. What is that? That's mutated human right there. So he's already is better than normal humans. But he's not a Superman. Alright, he's not going to just flick people off like that. That would be unrealistic.
Well, there's an endearing side to Roach, and I do like Roach, but I don't like Roach's mechanics. When I call Roach,
Yes.
she spawns in some random place,
Oh, that's
nice
so
and far
annoying.
away from where I am, and often gets stuck on the way to me, either behind a building or spawned on the other side of a small creek or something that she can't get over. It's like, you had one job.
Yes,
Roach,
yes.
come on, let's go. You stand there and say alone as Roach is 3 football fields away,
Yes.
galloping in place. Number 3, after that cab
Okay, that third point was so accurate, it's not even funny. The biggest annoyance of the game is Roach. It's so annoying that it becomes funny at lots of time.
Ray show, you know the one where everything goes perfectly? You know that one? That one with Dandelion? That one that's not a disaster in any way. I'm sorry, I was just annoyed by that mission. You might have thought differently. But you have to unequip the prop sword afterwards, and I hate that because I didn't know
Oh,
I
yeah,
had to
yeah, I
unequip
remember
the
that.
prop sword. I thought my sword would still be equipped, but it was not. And I'm like, what's up with these battles? I suck now. And I didn't do it for like a long time or anything before I figured out what was going on and fixed it, but still, come on. Why would I still have that equipped? That was a practical joke by the developers, I guarantee it. And number 1,
Alright, yeah, that was kind of annoying. I got into a fight somewhere in Novigrad after that mission. And, I'm really good at dodging and attacking, so I wasn't really like, got my ass beat or something. But it was taking a really long time to kill them, and I was like, what the hell's happening? Did some kind of bug came on after that mission, like my damage doesn't happen? Then I realized, oh wait a minute, the prop sword is still equipped. I mean, when you think about it, why wouldn't it be equipped? You need to unequip it, but it's just annoying sometimes.
the Master Swordsmith's quest, specifically what you get for it. Your recommended level
Oh,
is
God,
21.
yes.
The
Ah.
monsters are level 22, and you get
Yes.
a level 17 sword that's supposed to be a masterpiece, but it's just a generic sword that's
Oh god, yes. This so annoyed me. I was seriously pissed at this time. Because this mission in Novigrad is higher tier than any other missions in the Novigrad. So you would feel like this is a bit powerful mission. That when you do it, you'll get a great reward. And whenever you do it, you're always a bit lower level. It's just situation is like that. You're always a bit lower level. Unless you forgot about the mission, you're always going to be a lower level. And when you fight those dwarves and lots of people, there are tons of people you fight. And they are all 2-3 levels above you. It's extremely hard to fight all of them. So when you finished, you feel like you done a massive thing. So when you go back to master blacksmith, you'd feel like, okay, I don't want something too legendary, but I would need something good. Some good in a sword. There are some good stat that would, they would feel it unique. But when you get the sword, it's so bad. It's like, I already have 3 swords that I don't even use that are better than it.
kinda better, and not even a unique item, really. Come on, it's a fantasy world, and you just spent all this time helping a master swordsmith out. A master swordsmith! I expect a master sword, if you'll excuse the Zelda reference. But no, that turd built me a piece of crap. I made him dismantle it, and if I could've, I would've made him bury all the pieces, and wear a dunce hat for the rest of his life, with a sign above his stall that says, "Guy claiming to be master swordsmith." What did you hate about Witcher 3? Yeah, it's a great game, but I know you got some pet peeves. Meet me down in the comments.
Alright, the last point, I won't go that far. The claims to be Master Swordsmith. Because whenever I play games like this, Skyrim and this, where you can really equip yourself better, I always come to the point where schematics are master level. I always come to that point. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna build all the gear master level. So at that time, I always need that guy because he's a only master blacksmith. I think in vanilla game, I don't know about DLC, but yeah. So he's only master blacksmith. So you have to go to him if you want a master level Witcher gear made. And it's not like he doesn't have master level weapons. When you go to his shop, he really has some relic weapons that are really high level. So it's not that he doesn't feel like a master blacksmith, because he does. It's just the reward of his quest is really pissed me off. But you could think like this. That's just sword, but that's not the reward. Reward is you can use him where you couldn't before. Before, nobody could have made a master level gear because there are very few master blacksmith. He was one of them and he wasn't making swords. So you just enable a certain level of gear that nobody in the world could use at that time, at least in that area. So he is really useful. But yeah, that reward was so bad, it's not even funny. I was pissed at that time. And by the way, about the weapons, I like about this game is when you play it, and lots of in the middle of the game you reach Novigrad or something, you feel that Witcher gears are the best, and they are kind of. But you reach certain point, certain level, that even Witcher gear are done. Now, if you want something higher tier, you need to find a relic blueprint. And there are some relic swords that are way higher than Witcher blueprints. There is way higher level, 40, 42, and their stats are incredibly good. Their looks are incredibly good. So people don't realize in the game the relic swords, the relic are not just some instant rusted pieces. Relics means they are so unique and so has a purpose that somebody really put time and effort to make that. Master blacksmith or somebody made it. So relic swords are, really unique and legendaries. That even beyond Witcher gear, sometimes you can find relic weapons that are even better than that. So I just like that small details like that. Whenever I find some kind of relic blueprint or relic weapon, I always feel this good, like, yeah, this is something incredible. Every time you see how a relic sword looks, every time, it looks just epic. Even better than the Witcher weapons. It looks epic. So I love relic swords, man. It's just awesome. So yeah, 10 things. I think I agree with only one or two. Most of he got things wrong. It just feel like he just made this list, didn't play Witcher 3 properly, didn't know about Witcher lore much, and he made this list because only one or two about Roach and I think Blacksmith's Reward. That's the only two thing I agree with. Everything else is just wrong. So I don't know if I don't agree with this list.